You're allowed to question your doctor when it comes to your dose. Hello there, my name is Daisy, aka D, and welcome to D's Health Diaries. I am a certified diet coach who was diagnosed with hypothyroidism over a year ago, and here is my list of 9 things that I wish I knew before I started my thyroid treatment. Number 1, and this is the one that I think caught me by surprise, is that your symptoms might shift before you start feeling better. And by that, I don't mean that they'll get better. For some people, they do just get better immediately. But for others, you might feel like your symptoms are getting worse. I remember when I started taking levothyroxine, I thought that I would immediately start feeling more energetic. I already had all these plans of the things that I would do. But shockingly, I felt even more tired than I had been before I started taking the levothyroxine. And that was very strange because I thought that I would definitely feel better. So on doing research, I realized that it takes a while before the hormonal fluctuations balance out. And for that reason, many people will feel like their mood is worse, their energy is worse, and they are experiencing their symptoms at a much higher degree than before. Thing number 2 is that it's normal to feel discouraged after you started taking thyroid treatment, because this relates to point number 1. You're thinking that you're now on levothyroxine or whatever medication that you're taking, and you're expecting that you'll just immediately start feeling better. And then surprisingly, you start feeling worse, and you've already been feeling bad, and now you're feeling worse. You might feel like there's no end to this. But that's normal. It happens to many people. Just hold on. Eventually, you'll come out at the end of it. And yeah, it just takes some time before your hormones finally figure out what works for you. I mean, you're introducing another hormone to your body, and as much as, yes, it's natural, it might take a while before your body is like, okay, yeah, we can work with this. And number 3, there is such a thing as vitamin and mineral deficiencies. When you have hypothyroidism or any other thyroid disorder, you get accustomed to blaming everything on the thyroid. You're feeling tired, it's the thyroid. You're feeling hungrier than usual, it's the thyroid. Those headaches, it's definitely the thyroid. But sometimes it turns out it's not the thyroid, it's because you're deficient in vitamin or in a mineral. And there are very many common deficiencies with thyroid disorders. Like, for example, with hypothyroidism, you might be deficient in D3, iron, selenium. These are just some examples. In my case, I was deficient in vitamin D, despite the fact that I was working outside for like 30 minutes every day in the sun. And yes, I was still deficient. The doctor had to give me a dose of like 300,000 international units of vitamin D to get me to a range that's now considered optimal. So as much as your thyroid might be to blame for many of the symptoms you're facing, it's also important to ask your doctor to look into whether you have vitamin or mineral deficiencies, which is something most functional doctors do. Number 4, support protocols are important. We tend to look at the thyroid as one thing, and that if we fix that, then everything gets better. But the truth is, your thyroid is important in releasing thyroid hormones, your T4. A large percentage of it is just T4, and then there's that amount of T3 that comes from your thyroid. But most of the T4 gets converted in your liver and in your gut. So if your liver is not working well, if your gut is not working well, then that conversion does not really take place. So it's important to look into things like how you can support your liver, how you can support your gut, how you can support your adrenals. Your body is this complex system that involves many parts, and you can just look at your thyroid as one thing. So if you'll be interested into looking into how those other things affect you, I would advise you to look into Dr. Isabella Wentz. She's a pharmacologist who also had Hashimoto's thyroidism, and she was able to get hers into remission by supporting her liver and her gut and her adrenals. If that sounds like something that you'd like to do, you can check her out. There are also many functional doctors who help you do this. Just remember that these are ways to help your medication work better. I am on a liver support protocol, and I plan to do an adrenal recovery protocol and a gut protocol because I understand that that's the best way to get my medication to work. And perhaps doing this can also help me finally say goodbye to my hypothyroidism. Okay, point number 5. Timing matters. If your doctor tells you don't take your medicine and then take another medication like within like 4 hours, if you're supposed to space them by 4 hours, do it by 4 hours. If you have your medication, like let's say levothyroxine, you're supposed to wait an hour before you eat. That means you can have tea, you can't have coffee. In fact, they've done some tests on some medications and they found that just taking a cup of coffee is enough to affect the absorption rate. So as much as yes, it's a bit challenging to wait, just wait, because that's the best chance you're giving your medication to work. Another option will be to do what I do. I don't really like waiting after I've woken up. So what I do is I wake up at 6, I take my medication, then I go back to bed, so that by the time I wake up, my medication has worked and I can eat if that's what I want to do. So you have to wait, just wait. Don't take that sip of coffee. Maybe you can have hot lemon water, but don't take anything that can affect the absorption of your medicine. And also ensure that you take your medication at the same time every day. That's very important. Now, number 6, you have to track how you're feeling. If you want to feel like you're feeling better, you actually have to have a metric of knowing whether you're feeling better. Often we just rely on how we're feeling. Like, do I feel tired today? Do I feel energetic? But the thing is, there are other things that go on in the background that you maybe don't pay attention to, but they matter. For example, are you feeling colder than before? Are you still constipated? These are things that you can find out by tracking your symptoms every day. You can do it by pen and paper, but if you really want something that will give you the insights, I will advise you to get an app. I use Human Health and it's very effective. It helps me track everything from my medication to my symptoms, and it's free. There are many other free apps out there. So ensure that you're tracking your symptoms if you want to know if you're actually getting better or worse and whether your medication is helping. And with an app like Human Health, you can even track things like sunlight and even your diet, like if your diet is helping or not. Number 7, as much as support is important, support is not equal. And the thing is, you might join a group and you feel like it's not working for you. And that starts from how you even chose the group. If you want to find a group that works for you, start by asking yourself what kind of support you need. Are you looking for a group where people just share their experiences? I belong to one like that. People share how they feel, others come in, they give them hugs, they say, I feel the same way too. And for me, that works because I just want to know how other people are feeling. But if you're looking for experts, you won't find them in that group. If you're looking for a place where maybe you can meet people outside the group, it's not in that group. You have to find a group that works for you and your needs and the way you prefer interacting with people. So as much as support groups are there, you have to find the right one for you based on your needs and your wants. Number 8, weight loss is possible with thyroid treatment, but you have to be ready for some things. For your weight loss to work, you have to be on an optimal dose of your thyroid treatment, and you also have to make and take practical steps to get to that weight goal. And what does this mean? Many people start by cutting back their calories by a drastic amount or even like exercising a lot. But while that might work for maybe other people who don't have thyroid disorders, when you have a thyroid disorder like hypothyroidism and you start going on a very low calorie deficit and you're also like working out so much, you pave the way for metabolic adaptation, which means that if your total daily energy expenditure was 1800 and now you're eating 1000 calories, your body might actually adapt to the 1000 calories so that you're still maintaining your weight even at that very low calorie count. There are many ways to manage your weight and they don't really include those extreme strategies. What you need to do is make sure that you have the optimal dose of medication and then embark on practical and sustainable ways to lose weight. I run a program called the Better in 90 program, and the goal here is just to help you make sustainable changes in your life that you can make in the 90 days. And it's not that you're going to lose the weight in 90 days, you'll have lost maybe some of it, but it's to teach you how you can improve your lifestyle so that you're able to lose weight and also keep it off for the rest of your life. Because with hypothyroidism, weight loss, and even fat loss, or anything that has anything to do with your weight, it's all about practical and slow and steady. Because if you go for the sprint, you will probably end up with metabolic adaptation, which is very, very hard. yeah, to work through. It's possible to work through, but it's better if you just don't put yourself in that position. Number 9 is that you're allowed to question your doctor when it comes to your dose. If you feel like you've been on your dose for 4 to 6 weeks and you're not feeling better, it's better to go to your doctor and tell them how you're feeling, because there might be something else going on, or you might be on the wrong medication, or your body is not even converting your T4 to T3 if you're on a T4 medication, or you might need to go on a combo medication. There is so much that you might need to do, but the only way to start doing it is if you talk to your doctor and you both find a way forward. So I have my appointment in like 2 weeks, and I'll be sure to tell my doctors what symptoms I feel really need to be addressed, because as much as I feel better on this dose of level that I'm on, I still feel that the doctor could do more in terms of medication, as I also support my adrenals, my gut, and my liver, so that I get to a place where I feel like I'm in optimal health. So that was my list of 9 things that I wish I knew before I started taking thyroid medication. I would love to hear what you thought about them. I'd love to hear your experiences and whether there are things you wish you had known before you also started this journey. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. And I would really love it if you subscribed, because I have so many more videos coming and I would love to have you in my community. Thank you and goodbye.